Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another hopefully awesome video for you guys. I'm Matt Solomon, and as you know, I am joined by the one and only Mike Salata. Mike, welcome to the call, man. Great to have you with us.
Thank you, Matt. Great to be here with you.
Good, good, good. And hello, everybody, and welcome from all over the country. It's great to have you here too. Today, we're going to be talking about selling advisory services and the issues that we've been having in terms of being able to actually do that. What we mean is selling services that your clients are really wanting from you, the clients that services that they're really needing from you, I should say as well, and also commanding premium fees at that same time. And so what we're seeing, and Mike, I definitely want to get a first take from you on this, but what we're seeing, let's just talk about how that shows up and some of the downside of not being able to do this. And so ultimately, this is about not giving clients what they really want and value. And so, Mike, I'd love to hear your perspective on that, and I'd love for you to open it up with any thoughts you have on the topic.
Yeah, what happens is we get kind of this idea, we start to build a firm, and obviously the tax compliance work is a good base to start from. But we continue that. We never graduate from it. And what happens is we continue down that cycle, and we become very busy. And then we become very driven by deadlines. And then to grow revenue, not profit, but revenue, what do? We get more clients. We do more work. So we end up getting into this whole kind of tax compliance cycle, or this commodity-driven level of services. So now we're competing on price with everybody else. Now we're, to make more money, we just have to do more work. So we're taking on more hours, more work, and we're not really leaving any time to really sit down and build real relationships with our clients, or even start solving some of the issues that they're having. And the sad thing is, a lot of those issues they're bringing right to our doorstep. They're telling us about how they want to grow or how profits aren't doing well. And guess what? We're so focused on the tax, the compliance, some of the commodity-driven stuff. And a lot of those clients, quite honestly, are the ones that are fighting you on fee. They're not turning their work in on time. They're complaining about your fees, always threatening to leave, adding more stress to you, the last-minute calls or questions that they may have. And this dependency on you needing to be the answer. Almost treating you like an employee, quite honestly.
Yeah, totally, Mike. And I think, it's interesting because nobody would consciously continue to choose to do that if there was a way to serve clients more and make some more money and really get their freedom back in their lives. So they're not constantly, slaving over being employees for their clients, essentially. But I think where there's a lot of difficulty, and I want to kind of explore this for a minute, is in terms of just knowing how to get out of that. It's so easy, especially for accountants, because we're so focused on getting the little details done and getting the work done and having consistency and all those things as our personality traits are so important to us. But while there's a major benefit to doing that, of being able to get work done and seeing things to completion, the other side of it is that we never pop our heads out and look around and take inventory of what's really going on in our lives and what's really going on in our practice. And I think the difficulty, as we've observed, Mike, is that a lot of times accountants lack, number one, the ability to just, or the decision to just pop out and say, hey, what's going on? I'm doing this for 15 years now. When I started this thing, I thought it was going to take me a year to get through this. And now I've been doing the same thing for 15 years. I'm getting more exhausted in the process of doing it over and over again. But I think accountants lack, one, the ability to pop out and look around, sort of that self-awareness component. And at the same time, I think it's really hard to gain the confidence to do this, to make this transition into selling or getting more advisory-based work for a couple reasons. One, accountants are not necessarily sure that they can deliver on these higher fees, and that it kind of puts their butt on the line to go out there and really deliver at a high level. I think also it's hard to have the confidence to know even how to have the conversation. And once you're starting that conversation, where do you go from there? So it becomes very difficult to actually see a way out of it. And I think because for most accountants, it's not a clear process, then it's easier to just keep doing the thing they did yesterday. And so, Mike, if you want to talk about what you're seeing when the struggles that accountants are seeing and facing when they do try to transition away from just doing the compliance work and into this more valued, more needed work of the advisory type of services.
Yeah, so we were just on a call with a handful of accounting practices, so struggling with the same thing. You said it, pop out and just be aware of what's going on. It's so hard, and they're telling us it's so hard to pop out. I know I should, and I need to take time for myself and be aware of what I'm doing and what's going on, but I can't because I just hit a deadline. Then there's another deadline. And because I want to keep my revenues as high as I can, I got too many clients, right? So that they're really struggling. So how to step out of that, you know, it's a confidence to be able to step out of that. It's, to your point, Matt, it's exactly that. The ability to stop and say, whoa, wait a minute. What am I really trying to build here? And it's scary because, you know, it's become the known, right? And the unknown is scary. But the known is if I keep going down this, at least I'll make money. And then I can adapt. You know, maybe it's not that bad, but it is because they're missing out on time with their family. They're missing out on fulfilling careers or practices that they could be having. They're missing out on doing really fun, enjoyable work and making a real impact on the results of their clients. So the ability just to stop, and sometimes you just need help stopping, right? Having some guidance and some coaching to help stop what's going on and stop the madness, quite honestly. Doesn't mean you have to stop everything you're doing in your practice. Doesn't mean you even have to stop the tax. Because with better clients and better services, advisory, step into an advisor role in relationships, actually comes better tax and compliance work. And overall, just a better clientele. And what we know, Matt, is it's just a better lifestyle overall. But yeah, you're right. People get lost in, okay, if I can stop then how do I do it? How do I communicate it? What am I communicating? What do people really want? And again, here goes the cycle. We know that there's, and I'll say left side, right side. On the left side, people need to have taxes and compliance done, right? We know that. That's a stable. So we find a lot of reassurance in going, if I can just deliver that, then I'll have a job or I can have a firm. The problem is it's commodity work. Everyone in the marketplace is fighting for that commodity level work, and it's a fee sensitive environment. And what's happened, instead of people trying to grow great practices, they're actually becoming low cost leaders. You know what I mean? Low cost leaders. And that's not a fun place to be in. And the way to really survive in that atmosphere is to be well leveraged, well priced, you know, and people just aren't, you know, paying attention enough to make that happen. Now, on the other end, what I'll say the right side is there's this whole level of services that clients want and value and are begging from their accountants, right? On the other side, yeah, I got to do tax, and I got to do compliance. I understand that, and no one gets excited. Like I always say, there's no parade when tax time comes or busy season comes. But there's this level of, how do I become more profitable? How do I grow this business? I have financial goals and dreams that I want to accomplish. I just don't have the right systems and processes to really manage the business. I'm great at my trade, but I'm not great at running the business. Who do I turn to? Who can help me? Please help me. These are the things that clients want, business owners want and value. And as accountants, as advisors, we're there and we can play that role. But again, it's identifying that we have a bigger role to play with clients, not just the tax and compliance. And there's more for us as advisors than the commodity-driven services. This opportunity to step in and play a real role and help clients, business owners, move into better profits, more growth, achieving goals that they've been looking for. But that's going to take a process, and that's how you get confident, having a process, being part of a coaching group, even where you're working with people that are doing the same exact thing, the same like-minded individuals that are looking to really grow into this role and start providing the community and these people just different realities.
Yeah.
Sorry, I know I said a lot there, Matt.
No, it's awesome, Mike, and I think it's really important. So I think just to sum that up, on one side of the equation, there's the fact that we're kind of stuck doing compliance work, being seen as the provider of compliance work. So that keeps us battling against the freecreditreport.com that's doing the tax stuff for free,
Yes.
or the H&R blocks that are completely, perfectly leveraged factories and warehouses for taxes that win because of their size, because of their volume, and because there are people who are competing against you if you're in that space who are doing it for a couple bucks an hour and grinding it out and working 80-hour weeks and 70-hour weeks and all that stuff. So your competition as the little guy is going against a big machine. And so not only that, when you're in the commodity-based stuff and you're not selling your advisory work, then, and Mike hit on this well, but we have to dive into this deeper. We can talk about what it means to be a little stuck. We can talk about what it means, and we can, joke about what it means to be 5 years, 10 years, 15 years doing the same thing. But the reality is that's a lifetime. That's somebody's life that you're wasting away, and for huge pieces of your life, you're missing your family for a few months out of the year during tax season. And you're getting used to the late nights and the weekends of work, and it's ridiculous. And you really have to step back and say, is this really worth it? Because I'm now in a model that requires this. Technology, high competition, it's literally, and this is why people talk in the profession about having to transition into becoming advisors, because this is getting swept up. That the tidal wave is crashing, and this stuff is done. You cannot any longer sustain being in a small compliance practice. And that's why you're feeling what you're feeling. That's why you're missing more time with your family. That's why you say you're never going to have another busy tax season again, and then you have another one. It's a trap. And the reality is that if you want to get away from that, and this is what Mike was alluding to, if you want to get your life back, if you want to be able to take time with your family again, or travel, take that trip you've been thinking about, or just take time to breathe and catch your breath again and come back into planet Earth for a little while, and not just planet Office, but if you want to experience the world, there's a couple of things that you have to do to get there. And as we said, one is to step back and say, and ask yourself, is what you're doing what you really want to be doing? The other thing is, if you're looking for more value to bring to clients, if you're looking to step into your knowledge and power, which you have an incredible amount of from your years of experience, if you want to bring that to the table and get paid what you're actually really worth, then exactly what Mike said, you have to give clients what they want and what they really need from you. And it goes way beyond the compliance work. And although there's always a lot of fear about that transition, what we can tell you from experience is that when you know what you're doing, when you have the right process to get there, when you really truly understand what clients want, you begin to see a future for yourself that is much, much brighter, and you're able to step into it. If you think about doing advisory work, you can think about it forever and it'll scare the crap out of you. But if you're willing to move into it and you're ready to own that and you have the right process to do it, that's huge. So number one, you must understand what clients want and need. And the other side of this equation, it's one thing to understand it, but there's one key piece here that most accountants either completely avoid, don't notice it at all, or are so poor at it that they just wing it. So the last piece to this whole puzzle is about communicating your value. So once you understand what the clients need, you need to be able to communicate that in a way that an advisor would communicate and understand what the clients are wanting. And you need to have the right process around that. And really, it comes from discovering and asking the right questions. And it comes from really understanding your client in a way that through that process, they're feeling your value as the advisor. And when you have that process and you understand what they want from you, those are the key pieces to actually get out of the compliance jail and to get into a role where you're owning your value, serving your clients at a super high level, enjoying doing more fulfilling work for them, and getting your nights back, getting your weekends back, and getting your hours back throughout the day, and really building, when we talk to people, Mike, there's nobody who just says, oh man, when I started my practice, all I wanted to do was work 60 hours, 70 hours, and just grind it out for 15, 20, 30, 40 years, and then get to the point where I'm worried about retirement because I haven't somehow saved enough money and all these things. Nobody's ever told us that. When you started your practice, you wanted to help people, you wanted to do good work, you wanted to do enjoyable work, and the reality is that if you want to have that practice that you've always set out for, that's always been another tax season away, or another after the deadline away, or I'm going to change it next year, or I'm going to change it at the beginning of the year, and you've never been able to actually grasp it, you have to be super honest with yourself and say, is this something that is really on the other side, or do I have to go work for it a little more than I thought? And so what I just want to share with you guys is that if you want some help understanding what your clients want from you, if you want some help being able to step into that advisor role, to go from competing with these tax warehouses and these compliance warehouses as a little few-person shop, and to go take on these huge corporations, if you want to get out of that rat race and you want to move into a place where you're serving clients, making more money, getting your life back, getting your freedom back, getting control back in your day-to-day, then we would absolutely love to help you, and I'm willing to jump on the phone with anybody who wants to do that. We just ask that, number one, you are really committed to getting out of it. The conversation is not worth it for you if you're just dabbling. You've heard everything that you need to hear. now from Mike and I if you're just curious. But if you're actually ready to how do I actually do this? How do I understand value? How do I step into the advisory role? And how do I really, and I'm going to say a very dirty word here, but how do I actually sell that so that I can step into that role, get paid for it, and serve my client? And if you're interested in that, I'd love to chat with you because we have the strategy and we have those things, and I'd love to share it with you. And so first, I'm going to understand where your business is at. Then I'm going to spend some time getting clear on where you want to go. And if our process can help, we'll talk to you about exactly how it can do that. And the other side of it is, if it's not a good fit, we do know a lot of resources that we don't get paid for any of that stuff, but resources that we can send you to that will help you transition into the advisor. So if you want to chat with us, let us know. And we just appreciate you guys being on these calls, on these videos, I should say. If you have questions or comments, put them in the questions area. If you want to book a call, which I would encourage, click on the link in the video description, and you'll set up a call with me and my team in the next couple of days or so. So, Mike, I appreciate it. Really appreciate having you here. And everybody, thank you so much for being with us today. Book your call if you want some support, and make sure that whatever it is, recognize that there are steps you have to take to get out from under where you are and get into the life that's there. And the other thing I'll tell you, and I'll leave it with this, is you must know that it's possible for you. You can truly make this transition. You understand things from the business perspective that most business owners don't understand at all. And you may take that for granted, but if you learn how to package and communicate that correctly, directly into what the clients need from you, then you are sitting on gold. And you spend a lot of time looking for gold and working and digging around the gold, but this is actually the way to get it. And so, Mike, thanks so much for being with us today. Appreciate having you as always. We'll be doing more of these soon, and I encourage you to book a call if you resonated with the video. Thank you guys so much, and talk to you soon.